Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily futures market review for the trading day ending Tuesday, December 1st. First look at gold futures, and here we see a confirmed change of trend today. This current candle forming a higher high and a higher low. Previous day's trading we saw buyers coming back into the market, forming a white body candle as opposed to the large black body candle of the prior day's trading. For yesterday's trading we saw the Tenkan-sen holding as a resistance, as we did with the day prior to that, also the 1075 region, and today has been no different. The market did test above the Tenkan-sen and just through that 1072 region, almost to 1075, and we have seen rejection from there. With the previous day's trading, we saw the buyers take control away from the sellers. It was only moderate control. We did also note that the buyers lost commitment around the Tenkan-sen indicator, but they did maintain control even though it was quite weak. For today's trading, however, they've lost control of the market. And this suggests that there is a possibility of a change of trend back to the downside, and we could see some strong rejection from this 1072, 1075 area or the Tenkan-sen resistance. One positive factor in favour of continued buying, however, is the formation of a white body candle again. So in net terms, between the open and the close, the buyers have continued with some upside momentum. So I suggest that we do really need to watch these levels of resistance very closely. Obviously a bullish close up above 1075 would signify an important event, that the buyers are rather strong in the market now, and we could then eventually see the market testing back up to about the 1084, even possibly eventually up to around the 1100 round number. But we're certainly not seeing any signs of that yet, with the buyers losing commitment once again above these levels of resistance. It does suggest that there is potential for the sellers to come back into the market and trade the market back down to lower levels, and if we can breach down through this swing low, we could easily trade down to 1044, in line with the market being bearish in all three timeframes in terms of Ichimoku. Just looking at our bands here, and here we see the band starting to squeeze up, and this is suggesting that potentially this strong downtrend that we saw here may be over, and we could see the market, if it doesn't retrace substantially into this first and second time frame downtrend, we could see the market start to congest. Importantly, we have now closed back within the bands, and we have seen that on a couple of occasions in the recent past, but we haven't seen any follow through. So follow through to the upside is going to be important here. If we do see a close back up here above the highs of today's candle, we could see the market testing to the middle of the bands at roughly about 1077, and that would be a fairly significant event in terms of that previous very strong negative tone in the medium term time frame that we saw. Watching the lower band as well to act as support. It trades roughly about 1066, and that could be an area where we see some buying come in if the market does retrace back down to there. Next to NYMEX oil, and very weak indecisive trading for the second consecutive day. Formation of a doji, almost doji, spinning top type candle suggests a lot of indecision in this market. For the second consecutive day, the market finding resistance at the Tenkan-sen indicator. The market is bearish in all three timeframes, supported by the Chica span. The trend is down in the first term time frame, but we haven't seen any strength from the sellers in terms of the short-term dynamics. The sellers actually closed with control for the prior day's trading, and they've lost that control today. This suggests that there is an opportunity here for the buyers, but with that strong resistance around the Tenkan-sen, there is a lot of doubt about whether the buyers will be strong enough to close the market up above that area. Even if we do close above the Tenkan-sen, we have potentially strong resistance at 42.45. We still should be watching the market to trade lower. Overall, we do have a negative market in the longer term and medium term time frame, and that suggests that the sellers could return to the market and test back down to this important support down around the $40 round number. Next to wheat futures, and here we see a continuation of the trend to the downside today. The formation of a much smaller black body candle in this first time frame downtrend that the market was in suggested there was potential for a change of trend to the upside, but it wasn't confirmed today. We did see, however, for that day's trading, the sellers continue with control, and that suggested good potential for further downside, and that's what we've seen today. We have a very much larger shadow on the top of this black body candle. It suggests that the buyers have lost commitment in a major way when they were testing up towards the high of the previous day's trading, and the sellers have closed with very strong control, and they've shown strong commitment, the sellers here today. This suggests, in line with the market being bearish in all three time frames, by trading below the cloud, the Kijun-sen, the Tenkan-sen, and supported by the Chikou span, that there is a good opportunity here for the sellers to test down to this previous support level at 466.50. Any retracement that we may see is likely to find very strong resistance now at the Tenkan-sen at 485.25. Next to corn futures, and here we see the market continuing to rally off the support level at 367.25. We tested down to there, and also importantly to the Tenkan-sen indicator. The buyers built very solid upside momentum for the prior day's trading by forming a fairly large white body candle, and we have seen some follow through today. Now the reduction in the size of the range, that's the distance between the high and the low, has reduced, and that suggests that the buyers are not as eager as they were previously. That does suggest that the market could find some resistance around this 376 level, as we've seen the influence of that today, with the market just backing off from very close to that level. And also the formation of a smaller white body candle compared to the previous suggests that the net momentum that we saw for the previous day's trading is no longer in the market, and this is suggesting that there is potential for a change of trend back to the downside. Now, having said that, however, we have seen the buyers continue with control. It's not strong control, but they have continued with control as they did for the previous day's trading, so that's a positive for the market to test to higher levels. And also we do have a white body candle as opposed to the previous white body candle, and it suggests that, well, not as opposed, but we do have a white body candle in line with the previous white body candle, and that suggests that we still have continued upside momentum. Watching the 376 level of previous support in the immediate past here, and that's an area where we could see very strong selling coming in, as it was a very, very important level of support and could turn into an important level of resistance. Also, importantly for today, whereas the Kijun-sen had been holding as an area of resistance, for today's candle it has held as support, and that suggests that we may be starting to see the transition of this market from a strong bear phase in the medium term time frame to a strong bull phase. So if we do see strong follow through here, and importantly the market closing in a bullish manner above 376, we could see the market continue to trade higher, although just bearing in mind that we do have potentially strong resistance at the Ichimoku cloud if we do trade through that 376 level. Next to the US 30-year bond futures, and very strong buying in this market today, and that follows a change of trend from the prior day's trading, but a change of trend where the buyers had closed with control and found solid upside momentum and very strong support below the Tenkan-sen, as had been the case for the past 5 consecutive trading days. The buyers had closed with very strong control for that day's trading, showed very strong commitment, and today we've seen a continuation of that commitment and much more solidly trading through the 154.27 level of previous resistance, trading through the Kijun-sen indicator, and also through the 155.27 level. A very solid buying day, one of the largest white body candles that we've seen, and this white body is in line with some of these very strong black body candles that we saw when the market was trending down in a very dynamic nature, and testing from these levels up around 159 down to about 151. This suggests that strong negativity certainly is no longer in the market, and there is very good potential for this market to trade to higher levels. One thing that we do need to watch, however, is that this is something of an extreme candle, and we don't tend to see strong follow-through. Not always the case, but we don't tend to see strong follow-through following extreme candles. So we will be watching very closely for the market to just perhaps come off slightly. But looking at the current candle as it is trading, we are seeing some support coming at this previous resistance level at 155.27. If we do see the market continue to trade higher, however, there is solid potential for resistance to come in at the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud around 156.21. But the opportunity is here for the buyers, and it certainly does suggest that we may not see the same negativity in the market that we saw here previously. Moving next to the hourly futures of the S&P 500 futures on the hourly chart, and here for the session it has just finished, we saw the market test above the Ichimoku cloud, didn't quite get to the first pivot point resistance level, sold off to find support below the cloud around the middle pivot point level in the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, and then rallying through the first resistance level, selling off once again to find support at the Kijun-sen and rallying almost through to the second pivot point resistance level. So none of these levels have really been helpful other than the middle level for today's trading around the midpoint of the trading session. At the moment we have opened above the middle pivot point level, and we are seeing some minor buying coming in. We are trading above the cloud, the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, supported by the Chikou span, and this suggests there is an opportunity here for the buyers, if they're strong enough, to test to the first pivot point resistance level at 21.05, 21.06, and a possible trade up to the second around 21.12, 21.13. If we do see the market come off, potentially strong support around the middle pivot point level, 20.94, and with the Tenkan-sen trading around there, it strengthens the support around that area. Any strong selling down through the Kijun-sen could see the second pivot point support level tested, 20.87, and we have the Ichimoku cloud around there strengthening the support, but any solid bearish activity down through the Ichimoku cloud with some strong follow through could easily see the second level tested down around 20.76.